Sale was one of the few bright spots for the Braves, though a rib injury limited him to 125 2/3 innings, in which he posted a 2.58 ERA and struck out 156 while only walking just 32. No one knows sports quite like the Bronx, the Princeton Review's 18th ranked best college radio station. Catch the Best Damn Sports Report at the top of the hour live on air on 107.7 FM, online at 1077thebronx.com, and on your mobile device using our free Apple, Google Play, Odyssey, and TuneIn apps. Live from Rider University, I'm CJ Jackson.
And it's out of here! And 107.7 The Bronx wins again with the Best Damn Sports Report. To never miss a hit like that one, find it all at 1077thebronx.com/Best Damn Sports Report. And as the Bronx rounds home plate, we're getting back to the biggest hits and best variety on 107.7 The Bronx.
1077 The Bronx /1077thebronx.com. Winner of 3 2026 Intercollegiate Broadcasting Systems Media Awards for Best On-Air Pledge Drive and our first ever Radiothon, Best Giveaway for Wake Up Riders Morning Bagel Run and Jewelry Spree, and Best Station Poster by Jake Goebel for Scream Screen. This is Beyond the Score. I am your host, CJ Jackson. I gotta, where's my, so I have lower thirds. Oh wait, maybe it's not working. All right, so the cameras are still a bit of an issue. Not really an issue, but it takes some time. But second show with the cameras, I'm excited. I'm not sure if many people remember, but a few weeks ago I mentioned I kind of wanted to do a show where just kind of talked about every team all in one and just do one giant kind of NFL recap, talk about everything that happened, grades for each team, kind of just dig in and analyze. And I think that will pretty much fill up our full 2 segments. And maybe I'll first half will be AFC, second half will be NFC. Towards the back half, we can kind of talk about what is new in the news, because this is not really my traditional format. I usually do news first, but slow news for the NFL, which that's always going to happen once you hit February into March. Combine just started, which we should talk about. I'm excited for the Combine as well. I have actually some strong feelings about the Combine and how I feel about it. So let's just dig into it, because why not? I'm only here for 1 hour a week, and why waste any time? So like I said, we're gonna start in the AFC. Start with the AFC East. I guess we'll go. I kind of did it from top to bottom of the division. I have nobody in here to tell me otherwise, so I guess I'll just go from top to bottom instead of bottom to top. Go from best to worst, I guess. I'll start with the New England Patriots. 14-3 was their record. I'll just right away. I'll give their season an A, not A plus. Any season where you can really make it to the Super Bowl or even your championship game in either respective conference, it is a great season. Now, kind of fell flat in the Super Bowl. Still, looking at it through a bird's eye view of this season, yes, this was a great year, and I give it an A. Obviously, I feel like the only team I gave an A on here, or A plus on, is the Seahawks, because they won the Super Bowl. But in all, the New England Patriots definitely had an A season. 28.8 points per game, finished as a top 3 scoring offense. Now, if you go back, obviously the Tom Brady years and everything, but you even go back towards the end of Bill Belichick. After Brady left, he won a ring over in Tampa. Now you have Cam Newton as your quarterback. Then the Mac Jones thing. I am if I'm a Patriots fan, I am genuinely surprised on the turnaround. Drake May, a little quarterback out of UNC, not really much hype throughout the season. Obviously led a great UNC team, but got a lot more hype around the Combine. Drafted 3rd overall, and what a pick that was, because within one season of Drake May, didn't get the start. Jacoby Brissett got the start out the gate. Nonetheless, Drake May comes out, finishes the season, shows some flashes. Really did. I think he was overshadowed by obviously Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels. So he was not getting nearly as much recognition or credit as those guys. But second season comes out, Mike Vrabel completely just turns this team around, and he is a guy that just brings instant leadership. And that's a guy like Tomlin too. Tomlin brought instant leadership. Now, did it translate to winning for Tomlin? It did. It didn't obviously sustain itself, but still, Vrabel is a guy that brings instant leadership to a team, and you saw that with the Patriots. 58 total touchdowns on the season. So with a top 3 total scoring offense, also had a defense that was ranked top 5 in fewest opponents' points allowed. So obviously on top of that, you win your division, you reach the Super Bowl, so you actually win the pennant, so you're the AFC champion. Like I said, there's not really much to get into it other than, I mean, I really enjoyed Stephon Diggs this season, I will say. I liked how he really operated in that offense. Drake May really seemed to, I mean, you kind of look at all those names on paper. Stephon Diggs is not the player that he was, but you look at all those names on paper, and Drake May really made the best out of what he was given. I mean, Kayshon Boutte, Hunter Henry is a solid, tight end. Ramondre and Travion Henderson. Henderson's a rookie, so you have no idea what he was gonna do. Stevenson struggled last year, fumbling like crazy. So that's a big question mark there. There was some injury questions too. And there's not really a solid elite wide receiver one except like Stephon Diggs. But I mean, like I said, he's aging, came off at a torn ACL over at Houston. But still, Drake May really made it work, and the defense did too. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see them back very soon. So A for the New England Patriots. Moving on, we have the Buffalo Bills. I guess I kind of just went out there and said A for the Patriots and just gave you the grade right away. I guess where's my camera? Come back to me. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, one sec. Bang. There it is. We figured it out. Buffalo Bills, I gave them a B+. Now, great season, 12-5. Great record. You finished top 7 in scoring, nearly 500 total points over the season. You led the NFL in rushing yards with 159 yards per game, and I should know that better than anybody else because the week that the Steelers and Bills played, I'll actually pull that up because I want the full stats. We saw James Cook and the Bills offense run the same play against the Pittsburgh Steelers damn near 29 times. 29 times that was. Let's see. Box score. James Cook, 32 carries, 144 yards, no touchdown. Hey, came out of the end zone. But still, they ran the same misdirection play 29 times. They shifted the entire offensive line to the left each time. And James Cook is so incredibly fast that he took 3 steps to the right following his line, put his foot in the ground, and bounced it out to the right. Boom. And he beat everybody on the edge. And he definitely beat slow Jalen Ramsey on the edge too. So I know that better than anybody on how well they ran the ball this year. Biggest question, though, was the leadership. And you see, they actually made a move right after the season, a surprising move. And you didn't really think that was the issue until they did it, firing McDermott. Now they bring in Joe Brady. I mentioned this last week. Is he the guy to really step into that role and immediately lead this team to, obviously, where McDermott couldn't, to the Super Bowl? And, obviously, Allen plays a huge role in that as well. Just being able to play in the postseason. Didn't run into Mahomes this year, but still fell short. And it's disappointing. It really is disappointing for, all the Bills fans, the Bills, Josh Allen himself. But in the grand scheme of the season, from week 1 to week 18, even going into the playoffs for the teams that did, they had a great year. Not a level for me, but still. They struggled a few times. Let's see. We'll pull up the Bills here because I already have it up. You lost week 2 against the Eagles. Or not week 2, sorry. I was completely wrong side of the schedule. You came out, you won 4 straight. Bang. You fall to the Patriots. That's your first loss, 3 points. I mean, hey, and a lot of I meant to mention this last thing. A lot of people gave the Patriots, a rough go on the schedule, and I did too, and I still do. I don't think they deserved the schedule they did or the praise that they did. But the Patriots did come out and they beat Buffalo. Then right after that, Buffalo dropped another game to the Falcons, who were not good at all. Dropped another game to the Dolphins. Fell to the Texans because their defense swallowed them up. And then the Eagles later in the season by 1 point. So you like that Falcons game. If you're the Bills, you can't lose that. That Dolphins game in division, the Dolphins were not good. You can't lose that game. And they lost by a significant margin. They lost by 17. So they definitely had some ups and downs. Obviously secured the playoff spot, back-to-back seasons. I wrote down a memorable moment here, but I'm gonna skip that because this question I sat there and I thought, you know what could they add to the defense? Because the offensive line's great, the quarterback play is great. Obviously, receiver, huge question. Get a receiver, Buffalo. Get a receiver. But defensively, what could they add? And I'm thinking they would. Secondary, I lean secondary. I say, okay, they could use another established elite corner. But obviously, Maxwell Harrison's over there. We could see a potential even bigger breakout out of these young guys back there. I do think they need a lot more help with the run, though. That's the biggest thing. The Bills really, really need to evaluate their run defense. And I really think that is the first thing you addressed. You put a pin in that run defense, address everything else later. You already figured out your coaching situation with Brady. I think moving forward, just focus on that. And that's just my opinion. But B+ for the Buffalo Bills. Miami Dolphins. Now, what looked to be a train wreck of a season. A complete train wreck. Actually kind of turned out a little bit better than it seemed. Tua started out horrible, threw interceptions like crazy. Tyreek Hill had a freak injury on a primetime game that knocked him out for the season. So already struggling, and then now undermanned without your number one receiver. They turned the season around sort of to what they were on pace for. They turned the season around. 7-10 was their record. I'm gonna give them not a D, but I'll give them a C. Now, just because of their strong finish. Now, they hit a point in the season last year. The Steelers extinguished it. They won 6 out of their last 7. They came out. They started the season 0-3. Colts, Patriots, Bills. Got to win against the Jets, but it's the Jets. Then you lost 3 straight again. You're 1-6 right there. Got to win against the Falcons. See, that's a team that the Bills should have beat the Falcons. And look, the Dolphins, who were struggling, 1-6 at that point, beat them by 24. They lost to the Ravens, and then boom. From Falcons all the way to Jets, they've won. It was 5 out of their last 6. They won 5 out of their last 6 games. Going into the Steelers game, the Steelers extinguished that and put a stop to that. Obviously, they can't play in cold weather, but just sort of a confusing season for the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel's a question. Is he a solid coach that people can take serious? Some could, some couldn't. Some liked him. He got it. He was out of there. Now Jeff Hafley's in there. Actually cut Tyreek Hill going into next season, so that's going to be a topic once we fully enter draft season. I keep saying that because this is truly the age of nothing for the NFL, like for news. But once we get around draft season, that's definitely a topic. Tyreek Hill, where is he going to land, and how will that affect the Dolphins, and how will they replace him? But C- for the Dolphins. New York Jets, F. Not one pick all year. Bottom 5 in total points. 17 points per game. Bottom 5 in yards per play. Defense allowed top 5 in allowing opponent passing yards per game. only bright spot, and I said this all year, my friend Ryan Putsu, who I mention all the time, Jets fan, I joke with him all the time. The Jets are the only team that I see consistently return punts and kicks all the time. And I wish the Steelers could do that. We haven't gotten one since Calvin Austin last season against the Giants. They do it all the time, but that's the only bright spot that I have written down here. Everything else was a train wreck. I mean, the Aaron Glenn, not experiment. The experiment is still going. We need next season. What are they going to do with the number two pick? But when you look back at 2025, 2026 season, F. Actually, a little strategic move here. Kind of went a little long. I love to yap. Sorry about that, guys. We're actually going to send it to some underwriting announcements just a few minutes early today. That way we can fit in the rest of all of our, analysis. But mark your calendars for 107.7 The Bronx Excellent Egg Hunt. Is on its way. Join us on the Campus Mall on Tuesday, March 31st at 11 a.m. to experience the event the Bronx won the best giveaway for at the 2025 IBS Media Awards. Don't forget, there are 10,000 eggs and 20,000 pieces of candy, and a chance to win so many cool prizes, including our biggest and most iconic prize, a 3 or 4 night Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas, provided by Josh Harry Travel. For more details, including a list of other activities and bites to eat, go to 1077thebronx.com/egghunt. We'll be back with more Beyond the Score after these underwriting announcements on the Princeton Review's 18th ranked best college radio station, 1077 The Bronx.
Wake Up Rider on 1077 The Bronx needs you to tell mother, father, whoever to tune in. Be good to yourself and make
I know. Underwritten by
Yes, you. That one.
Seven, the Bronx. Very exciting news. Our new video stream is officially live, and you can listen to the Bronx on air, online, and on app. Online and on app. Watch your favorite student shows live on the Bronx YouTube channel and our Facebook at 1077 The Bronx, including our Bronx After Hours, Tri-State Sports Ramble, High Stakes, Journey Across the Sports World, Cliff Notes, and now Wake Up Rider and Been Beyond the Score. That's what I thought. Keep it tuned to the Bronx to listen and also watch your favorite student shows now and in the future. Welcome back to Beyond the Score on your 5-time National Association of Broadcasters Marconi Radio Award nominated station 1077 The Bronx. So where we left off, kind of just spent the whole, I said we were going to do AFC first, NFC second half, but the first half was only the AFC East. So, hello, John. So we're just going to continue and hopefully squeeze everything together and get it done because there are 28 more teams to go. So moving on to the AFC South. First in that division was the Jacksonville Jaguars, a pleasant surprise, might I add. Seeing the Jaguars good for some reason feels good for the sport. I can't put my finger on it, but it feels good for the sport. Seeing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who my entire life growing up, other than a very, very short 2 or 3 season span, it was more like 1 or 2 season span with Blake Bortles, where 45-42 in the divisional round, and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and sent us home, and that was our last chance at a Super Bowl. So, yeah. But seeing them good again feels right. 55 total touchdowns on the season, top 8 scoring offense. They were top 10 in passing efficiency last season, and a quick turnaround, and you could see, and I put all praise to Liam Cohen, the new head coach. You come over from Tampa, was literally the main catalyst in bringing out Baker Mayfield, literally made Baker Mayfield a $100 million player. Same thing with Dave Canales, and that's why he has so much success in Carolina with Bryce Young, because these guys are football guys, and they got a good one. And you know what? In the beginning, when I saw that press conference of Liam Cohen, and he goes, Duval, like, I think this guy's a cornball, but he is a football junkie, and he really, really made this entire franchise turn around. Not only he definitely had his hands deeper in the defensive side. You saw that with the we talked about it in last semester. Their turnover ratio compared to the previous season, I wish I still had this stat here, like in total after the season. I know at the time it was astronomical. They had about 12 turnovers in 4 or 5 games, which is way, obviously way more inflated than last year. But having a defense so good like that and forcing that many turnovers takes the weight off the offense. It takes the pressure off of having to score every drive. And you saw that with the Jaguars. So 13-4 on the season, won the division, made the playoffs. Honestly, I gave the Bills a B minus. I do think this season is equal, if not better. I'm leaning B plus. And I think I'll leave it at B plus. I don't think I'll go higher, but I am excited for them to go higher because I do want to see the Jaguars be competitive, especially in a division that has been the weakest link for many, many years. So B plus for the Jaguars. Great job, guys. Moving on, we have the Houston Texans, 12-5 on the season, same record as the Bills. Top 3 defense, if not top 1 defense, but I know top 3 defense in terms of stats, but in just how they played and how fierce they were easily the hardest defense to play, and the Steelers got the full load of that in the wild card. But ranked top 3 in fewest yards allowed per game. The defense was just absolutely elite. The run, the pass rush, and all facets of a defense. They really, really perfected it. You've got 2 premier corners in Kamari Lassiter and Stingley back there. Bullock back there is also a very solid corner as well. Jalen Petrie back there, he is a hard-hitting safety, and then Azeez Al-Shaair over the middle is literally the most dangerous man. If I was a running back and I saw Azeez Al-Shaair in the A gap or the B gap, anywhere on the line coming downhill, I'd cry. He's a scary guy, and then not to mention the pass rush with Danielle Hunter and. Will Anderson. Blanked on the name for a second. But yeah, I'm going to give the Texans a B. The playoffs obviously left a bad taste in all of our mouths with C.J. Stroud and throwing that many interceptions in the biggest lights because we were all watching, kind of crumbled, and really, that obviously lost them that game. But B, I don't think, obviously they win that game, their grade goes up. They win that game, or if they lose that game but closer, they lose that game but by a 7 or 3, maybe I consider a B plus just by how well coached they are with DeMeco Ryans and just how insane their defense was. But I'm gonna settle on a B for the Houston Texans, and if that defense can add in the draft or free agency, you're looking at a Tank Dell return. Forgot about that, right? Tank Dell return. Need to reinforce that O-line. That actually has to be first, but still. And then a CJ Stroud. He has talent. He's proved he has talent. Proved successful in the playoffs. Won a playoff game. Brought the Texans, another struggling franchise, down out of the dirt. So interesting to see what they do there. Moving on, we have the Indianapolis Colts. We're gonna go a little quicker, probably about 2 or 3 minutes per team now. 8-9, a train wreck of a second half of the season. 53 total offensive touchdowns. that was very, very stacked heavily into the beginning of the season. Jonathan Taylor, just the workload that he saw prior to their collapse. Obviously, the Daniel Jones injury caused that, but Jonathan Taylor struggled mightily. And I mentioned this last week. Just taking even a guy like Daniel Jones out of your lineup. Daniel Jones is not this elite playmaker. Sorry, I can't find Jonathan Taylor on here. Whatever. Whatever. The ESPN doesn't want to work. They want to give me Tyrod Taylor instead. Anyway, as I was saying, you take a guy out of your lineup like Daniel Jones, not even a crazy playmaker like elite talent, but just a guy that has a solid arm and solid legs that can do both at any time at a NFL average level. The moment you take him out of your lineup and you put in a Phillip Rivers or a Joe Flacco or somebody like off of the street out of a backup, I mean, it completely just makes your offense one-dimensional. And I mentioned that last week with Jonathan Taylor, completely fell off a cliff with his production. And that contributed to the fall of the season. Your number one guy who was racking up 3 touchdowns a game, damn near 150 total yards a game, is struggling to rush for even 70 total yards. Rush, not even rushing and receiving, just rush on the ground for 70 yards in a game, like struggling to reach that. And he got the volume to do it. And it just started with the quarterback injury in my eyes. I think the coaching and everything was great. I don't think there was anything really being sabotaged behind the scenes. A lot of the times you can really pin it on a coach or a coordinator. I don't think you can really do that with the Colts. I do think it was an injury inflicted situation with the downfall of Daniel Jones. But there were some bright spots. The defense in the beginning of the season held its own before the offense made it very tough on them. And that's football. You need a balance between offense and defense, because the moment it goes off kilt, that's when you get the avalanche of like, dude, I mean, our offense is coming out for 3-4 drives because our defense, or 3-4 drives, 5 drives within however many minutes, because with our defense can't get a stop. You know what I mean? Colts, though, C. Average season. Started great, 7-2. Wow. You finish 8-9. You win 1 game for the rest of the year. That's average to me. I could be a little harsher on the decline. I'm not going to, but definitely a C. And Tennessee Titans, moving on. 3-14 on the season. Obviously last in that division. Bottom 5 in the NFL in total points. Offensive line ranked bottom 5 in pressures allowed. Defense top 10 in rushing yards allowed per game. The only bright spot I can really talk about is all of the youth that they have, all of the talent that can come. Mentioned last week sort of about Cam Ward and how somebody like an Alec Pierce, who is a free agent, would be a nice fit over there. Chabir Dike as well, Alec Iomanner. All of these guys, I mean, even Tajay Spears is still a little young. I mean, Tony Pollard's still there. He's on the older side. I don't know if he's reached 30 yet. But Tajay Spears is, I believe, 26, 27 years old. Oh, no. That's pretty old. Let's see. Do I know ball? Tajay Spears, are you 26? Yes or no? Oh, I'm off. He's 24, which is better for the Titans. But I have to give this season a D. And that's not a harsh D. And I think the Titans can look at that and say, yeah, that's what their season was. I mean, even Cam Ward said it in an interview. We are garbage, basically, is what he said, paraphrasing. But still, I just think there's some work to be done. Really need to find what system works with Cam Ward. Seems like it was kind of the offense seemed a little sandbox last year. Just not really fluid, not really working together. I think if you can find a system that works with Cam Ward and also the receivers that you surround him with, you could see an improvement. Maybe you win around 6 or 7 games compared to 3. that's great. I mean, that's an improvement, but still. Moving on. That's the end of that division. New division. We have about 10 minutes until our underwriting announcements, so we're going to make this quick. All right, winner of the AFC West, the Denver Broncos. 14-3 on the season. Great year. Defense ranked top 2 in opponent points allowed. Very balanced with the offense as well. I mentioned that you need to find the balance. 23 points per game. They were top 10 in takeaways. Division champs. This was the first different division champ in many years because the Chiefs collapsed this year. The dynasty fell. Broncos top 8 in the league in sacks. The defense was a wreck. Same story as the Texans, but obviously the offense was a lot steadier, a lot more efficient, and Bo Nix really is a. I mean, I really thought we were seeing the death of like field general quarterbacks, like pocket, like Matthew Stafford was really the last of them. But I do kind of see that in Bo Nix with just that dash of mobility. He just commands the offense so well, and he doesn't have to be flashy. Sometimes he is. And I guess you can kind of say the same thing about Josh Allen and kind of put all these guys in a group. Bo Nix, Drake May, Josh Allen. But still, he really, really is. You could tell all of those guys love to be led by Bo Nix here. He did a great job. That team struggled. I mean, obviously, you go through Russell Wilson, who, he takes a chunk out of your savings for a little bit. And then you're left hopeless. And this guy, Bo Nix, who spent years in college, and I believed he was never going to really do much. I mean, guys that stay in college for as long as possible, some guys do it. A lot of guys that do that don't get the exposure until that late. And then that's why they were there for so long, because they weren't known until they got to that point. But, Bo Nix was known at Auburn. And then he goes and transfers to Oregon, has a great season, and he does a great job. I'm going to give the Denver Broncos I'm going to give them an A. I'm going to give them an A. If Bo Nix plays in that AFC Championship game, there's a chance they win. There's a very, very good chance they win. Drake May was completely ran in circles by that defense. And, obviously, you tried out Jarrett Stidham to lead you to the Super Bowl. It's not going to be great. But I'm going to give the Broncos an A. Maybe A-. Maybe A is a little generous, but definitely on A level for me. Moving on. Los Angeles Chargers, 11-6. Pretty decent season, not decent, above average season. Kind of flies under the radar just because of proximity. If around here where I am from, if you're not into the sport as much as I am, or in the sports world, you don't hear much about the Chargers. They're all the way in California. 11-6, pretty good season. Obviously, most people know Justin Herbert. They had a very, very above average scoring offense this season. Najee Harris was supposed to be a part of this offense. That injury kind of, rolled the runway out for Marion Hampton, who kind of ran into his own injury situation too. But a solid season, kind of, fell flat. Nothing to show for, unfortunately. But this is the kind of season you're going to expect out of the Chargers year to year for as long as Herbert's going to be there. You're going to win 10 to 12 games. You're going to make the playoffs. Are you going to win? Signs point to no. That's just history says that with Herbert in the playoffs. But biggest question I have for the Chargers going into the next season, with all that being said, can you just elevate this defense to sneak into top 10 territory? If you do, and, obviously offense is good. You got pieces. I do think another elite receiver, like a alpha. If I showed you a picture of Ladd McConkey and you didn't watch football, I said, this is the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers. You go, this guy This guy's like 5'9". Yeah. Somebody out there to just be a bell cow, go out, 120 receptions. Ladd McConkey can be a very, very nice complementary piece, and you can kind of work towards, that playoff struggle that that has been plaguing you guys for years. I'm going to give them a B-. Not much else to say, but B-. We're going to try to get through the rest of this division, or actually we'll try to get through the rest of this division, and then we'll extend it into our last segment. Kind of miscalculated, but I love to talk as much as I can. Moving on to our last team of this division before our underwriting announcements. The Las Vegas Raiders finished last in the AFC West. They were 3-14. The league's worst offense in terms of yardage and scoring. Defense allowed the most big yardage plays. That's in terms of plays over 20 yards. Multiple blown leads. The turnover differential over the season was abysmal. And then offensive struggles, mainly third downs, was an issue. Getting Ashton Jainty efficient running holes and lanes was an issue as well. The offensive line. Go back and watch. Look, if anybody is ever bored, go back and watch Ashton Jainty's, Boise State Heisman season or Heisman finalist season highlights, and then go watch the Raiders highlights. Now, do that again, but don't look at Jainty at all. Look at the offensive lines, and then tell me what you see. That should be self-explanatory. That offensive line was made out of paper. And throw back to my freshman year, my grandma can get through that offensive line. She really could. Give me an F for the season. F+ because of the first overall pick and Fernando Mendoza ultimately going to be in black and silver. So with that being said, we're going to go into some underwriting announcements. We're going to kind of try to fit the last, however many teams. We're going to talk a bit about the Steelers. The Steelers are probably going to be the only team I really go in depth for deeply. Other than that, quick synopsis on every team, grades, and we're going to have to pack up and get on out of here. So with that being said, my liners, let's see. If you build it, our Rider Bronx will devour it. Introducing the contest that will cement your legacy at Rider University forever. Announcing 1077 The Bronx first ever Build the Ultimate Bronkwich competition. Be the Bronc who creates Rider's new signature sandwich to be served at Muller's Pub and on the Yo Cuz Yellow Food Trailer, and we'll send you and a guest on a Royal Caribbean cruise for 2 to the Bahamas. They love to give away cruises, guys. Take advantage of this. Go to 1077thebronc.com/buildabronkwich for complete details and how you can enter to win. We'll be back with more Beyond the Score after these underwriting announcements on your 3-time 2026 IBS Media Award winner, 1077 The.
Tasteless gas.
so much happening this spring at 107.7 The Bronx, which means there's a lot of behind-the-scenes content to be seen. Funny reels, station highlights, sponsored trips, and exclusive moments are just few of the reasons why you should engage with The Bronx on social media. Keep up with The Bronx. Follow us on Instagram and Threads at 107.7 The Bronx, and on TikTok at 107.7 The Bronx WRRC, and even on Facebook. If anybody's still on Facebook, I'm just kidding, at 107.7 The Bronx to see what we're up to on and off the air. Welcome back to Beyond the Score on your 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominated college radio station, 107.7 The Bronx, just in case you forgot. My name is CJ Jackson. We have entered our last final 7 or so minutes to ultimately recap 20 or so NFL teams. I may have miscalculated how long this may have taken or was going to take. I think I decided we're going to go through the AFC and save the NFC for next week. Yes. Since it took so long and we only have one more division in the AFC left and we didn't even sniff the NFC. So actually for this division, we're going to go a little different. We're going to go from bottom up and finish off with the Steelers. Biased, of course, because I'm clearly the most biased guy on college radio. I'm just kidding. We're going to start with the Cleveland Browns. 5-12. Not great season, but I wouldn't say F for a few reasons. Harold Fannin really impressed me this year out of Bowling Green. Now, he's a guy coming into the draft. You're like, oh, who is this guy? Bowling Green's a school that you don't really know too much about, but drafted by Cleveland in that trio of offensive skill players that they drafted, Quinshon Judkins, him as well, like I said, and Shedeur Sanders. And then we got to see all three of them play for 1 or 2 games, and then unfortunately Quinshon Judkins went down with a pretty bad ankle injury. Report actually came out today that he's off his boot, should be ready for camp. So good for him. Can't say the same for me. Now I'm on the camera. I could show this now. Can't say the same for me, so good luck to Quinshon in his recovery. I'm still very injured. But back to the Browns. Offense was bottom 10 in scoring. Defense, always good. Myles Garrett. Don't say that name around me. Broke TJ Watt's record. I mean, it was so ridiculous that all the media, all throughout when the last few weeks, when he was about to get the record, Strahan's record. Are we for real? Did we just forget who had even a more dominant season than Michael Strahan, tied him, and then also was screwed out of a sack earlier in the year that was taken away from him that would have set the record? All this Michael Strahan record. It was TJ's record. He broke TJ's record. Not a word. And it pisses me off. And you know what? F for the Browns. I was going to be nice. F. You got me fired up. F. Moving on. The Cincinnati Bengals. Their defense, we just talked about. The Browns defense, very good. Bengals defense, very bad. Not only thing. 36 rushing touchdowns this year. That was at the top of the league. They were in an offense that has Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. You would think, hey, they're going to attack through the air. But 36 rushing touchdowns. Amazing. Sorry. Offense was very strong. Defense just lacked, and that was bottom line for the Bengals. 6-11 season. Obviously, Burrow went down for a bit as well. So you kind of point of the season where Joe Flacco is, he beat the Steelers. So can't really talk some crap on them. But in terms of the season, this is an instance where I'm not looking at record at all. 6-11 seems bad, but the Bengals are a lot better than they seem, and I'm gonna give them a C-. Actually, I'm gonna be nicer and give them a C. like I said, I'm a nice guy. I'm very understanding, and I'm not biased at all. See, as I just gave the Browns an F because they made me mad. But yeah, C for the Bengals. Whatever. Moving forward, Baltimore Ravens. Oh, get to talk about how bad the Ravens were. Granted, they weren't too bad, or they weren't really bad. They were okay. Struggled in the beginning. Let's see. Let's pull this up. Can't focus on the Ravens too much because Steelers. Remember, Steelers. Leave time for the Steelers. You always get mad at yourself when you don't talk about the Steelers. 8-9 was their record. They started out you lose one game to the Bills, you win another, and then you lose 4 straight. You're 1-5 to start the year. Then you win 5 straight. Quite the turn of events. Luckily, the Steelers won the season series against them, swept them both times, 27-22 and 26-24. The last one to win the division and make it to the playoffs. Tyler Loop, man, missed field goal to end the season. What a memorable moment that was. And that leaves the question with the new coach, Harbaugh gone, Jesse Minter in. Defensive-minded guy, how will this affect the defense? Because that was a huge part in the beginning of the season. The secondary really just let things fly. Kind of hunkered down later in the season. Pass rush is always going to be great in Baltimore, which it was. Mike Green took a little bit of the rookie out of Marshall. Took a little bit to get picked up a little bit. But once he started to get going, he improved. The defense over there was... Can you guys tell I'm struggling to find good things to say about them? I hate them. C+. C+ season. Now, we've got about 45 seconds. Pittsburgh Steelers before we send it away. Very good season in my eyes compared to last year. Fun for Aaron Rodgers to have him there. Above average defense. Kept a lot of games close. The special teams was always great. Punting unit did a great job. First time in years we had a phenomenal punting unit. In terms of field position, we were always I'm trying to find the word here. We were always, we were always giving up bad field position on punts. Corliss Waitman really found something this year, I guess. But, we kept above 500. Mike Tomlin's last season. I really wish I saved more time for this, but Steelers great for this season. I'm going to give them a B. The coordinator play was awful towards the end of the season. The coaching decisions, and then obviously the playoff loss 30-6 leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It sucks. But it has reached that time. It is 2:00, and that puts an end to this show. Unfortunately, we will be back next Wednesday, so thank you. Actually, about to repeat it on this piece of paper. So thank you for listening to Beyond the Score. We'll be back next Wednesday, same time, 1 to 2 p.m. Stay tuned for more of the biggest hits and best variety on the Princeton Review's 18th ranked best college radio station, 3-time 2026 IBS Media Award winner, and 5-time NAB Marconi Radio Award nominee for College Radio Station of the Year, 107.7 The Bronx and 107.7thebronx.com.